we were just chatting, and it's been about a year since I think you were last on to share, your story and your journey in building your jewelry business. And your story is such a beautiful one because I think, your business didn't necessarily start from the traditional place of, I always knew I was an artist. It started in a season when you were navigating motherhood, homeschooling, living on an off grid homestead, and trying to find something that really felt like yours again. And now, years later, you've built Alena Made Jewelry. You are creating this beautiful nature inspired sterling silver jewelry for wild hearted women who find beauty and connection in the natural world, which I just think, even just the purpose and meaning behind your business is just, it's beautiful, it's inspiring. But what I'm really, really excited to talk about today is the shift that has happened for you over the past year and a half. Because I think you came and joined us in the academy about a year and a half ago now. And
Yep.
before coming in, you had your business, was it for about 8 years at that point?
Yeah, I had been in business, not doing silver work. I was making other jewelry prior. I just started doing silver work about 5, 6 years ago. Um,
Yeah.
so I had a little bit of a transition before that, but um, it's all been trying to make it fit within the lifestyle of being a stay-at-home mom, homeschooling, being very family oriented. So trying to slowly build my business as my kids get older and I have
Mm.
a little bit more time to focus on the business.
Oh, I love that so much. And so, yeah, you were building the business. You're so insanely talented when it comes to like
Thank
making
you.
your jewelry. You have this passion for what you do. Even just looking at where you are right now, like you have this beautiful like sage green wall and the plants and the flowers and the like your dragonfly necklace. And I'm like, oh, like every part of what you put out into the world is so you. It's so like it's so authentic to you and the way you even live your life. So I love that. And I know, despite having like this passion for what you do, there were still parts of the business that kind of felt inconsistent, especially when it came to, sales and visibility and email and structure and really just treating your jewelry business like something that could financially support you and your family. So, um, since joining the academy, I know you've made so many shifts, and I want to just chat about this a little bit more in detail because you've set up more structure financially. You started paying yourself from the business. You were able to invest some money from the business. You went on an epic trip to Greece, so we want to talk about that as well. You had your first best quarter. You've grown your online sales. You've pushed yourself to show up more visibly, even when being on camera felt uncomfortable. And now you're on track for what I believe could be your first six-figure year. Am I correct?
Yes,
Oh
which
my
is
goodness.
huge. Yeah, it's really exciting.
It's so huge. And so today I thought it would be fun to like take our listeners behind the scenes of that transformation because what happens often is like let's say you come on in a few months in 6 months time on the podcast and you share, okay, I hit my first six-figure year. For a lot of people listening, they hear this as like an overnight success, but nothing about this has been an overnight success. You've had to show up and do the work and be resilient and refine. And um, so I'm excited for us to actually dive into behind the scenes of this transformation of you building this six-figure jewelry business, just in a really honest way, and also talk about what helped you shift from that hobby energy into CEO energy, which you definitely have now, and your advice to other jewelry business who have been working hard for years because you were working hard before, um, but now like actually working hard on the right things and kind of the impact that's had. So, when you look at your business before coming in and joining me in the academy versus now, what would you say feels like the biggest transformation?
Oh, that's a good question. Before I started working with you, Robin, I felt like I was running into a brick wall. Like I knew absolutely nothing about marketing. My background is all science related. And I'm not a good salesperson. I'm just I'm not. So I felt like everything I was doing was just it wasn't taking me anywhere. I didn't know how to talk to people through my Instagram. I didn't know how. I had an email list, a very small email list, but I didn't know what to say. I didn't know when to send emails, any of that. So that's been a huge shift, even though I feel like I've touched about that much of the marketing sphere working with you. I know I have a long ways to go. Just that little bit so far has made a huge difference. Just I have, I think before I started working with you, um, I maybe sent 10 emails a year,
Mm,
maybe. And that was usually around a launch or Black Friday or something like that. I think last year I sent 75 or 80.
mm,
Um, so averaging more than one a week, which is such a huge difference. And I learned through you that the average open rate for emails is around 20% for our market. And I was just checking out my last email and I had a 47% open rate. So
wow.
it's been great because I've been able to cultivate more of a relationship in a sense with my email list that they actually look forward to my emails. When I go to shows, like I'll mention something like, "Oh, I read your last email. I saw that." So it's nice having kind of creating some of that relationship, which I never had before. And
Mm,
I feel like that's been huge, just being able to figure out how to talk to people
mm.
um, through my marketing instead of just throwing something out there and seeing if it sticks.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, understanding like who your ideal customers are and how to talk to them can have like the biggest impact on your business. And I'm so glad that you've started being more visible. You are taking up space with your emails. And how has this, if you're comfortable to share with sharing numbers, that would be awesome, but no pressure at all. But are you open to sharing like your sales were before you came in and sort of what they were over the last year? Just to give some people like an idea of the impact of these little tweaks and changes, how it can impact your business.
Yeah, before I joined you, Robin, so in 2024, I joined at the beginning of 2025. In 2024, my sales were, I believe, 42,000. So I had grown my business a decent amount
Mhm.
for not knowing at all what I was doing and mostly selling through shows, through in-person events. So then once I joined last year, I hit 85,000. So I doubled my sales last year. I just went back. My One of my big things is I really want to increase my web orders. I really want to increase my online presence and selling online. So I just checked because I started at the beginning of 2025. I compared last year to this year because I was just starting to implement everything. So the first half of last year, I did $2,800 in web sales. The first
Mhm.
half of this year, I've done almost 12,000. So quadrupled
Yeah.
what I have done in web sales, and Q1 and Q2 are always my slowest as well.
Mm.
Um, Things really pick up now. My Q3 is usually Q3 and Q4 are pretty comparable. They're both pretty big for me. Um, so to see that growth, I didn't check that until this morning. So it was like, oh, okay, I'm doing all right. Like I'm
Yeah.
actually achieving what I was setting out to achieve. So
I love this. And are you on track now for your first six-figure year?
I'm actually down a little bit from last year because I had some personal stuff come up in Q2 that I definitely wasn't as focused on the marketing. And I only did one bigger show and another smaller show in Q2. So my in-person events were also lower this last quarter than normal, but it just already what I'm seeing the end of June to now into July, I'm seeing it. I don't think I'll have an issue hitting six figures this year.
Oh,
So
wow. And we're only
yeah.
6 days into July when we're recording this. So that's pretty incredible. Um, I'm so excited for you, Alena, and I don't know if you know this, but I've worked with a lot of jewelry business owners where they're making 10, 20, 30, $40,000 a month in sales and they're not paying themselves, or they pay themselves inconsistently. And they come to me because they're like, I need to learn how to pay myself. But what you have done so well is, from last year, we did, I had a special guest, a financial advisor, come in to the academy and coach on this. But from last year, you started paying yourself consistently from your business every single month, and you've been putting away a percentage of sales into savings, and you were able to fund a trip. So tell us in your own words, like, tell us about this win, like what you were able to do.
So when I joined the JBA with you, Robin, I decided it was time to finally start treating my business as a business and not a hobby.
Mhm.
It wasn't just something I was doing in my free time. It was something I really wanted to grow. So when you had that financial guest on, something just really clicked that I've never paid myself in almost 9 years of business. I had never paid myself. Everything just went back into the business. I'm fortunate that my husband's job allowed us to do that, but it just made me realize that the reason I'm doing this is because I want to contribute financially. I want to be able to do fun things. So it really made me realize that I needed to start paying myself. And I started small. I started at 10% of my sales coming in. 10% of what I made I was going to pay myself. Um, and as my bank account started to increase, my business bank account, which I had never set up either until last year, um, I kind of picked a number. For me, it was 20,000. When I see 20,000 in my bank account, then I will increase what I'm paying myself to 20%.
Mhm.
So now I'm at the point where 50% of what I make goes right back to the business. So that always stays in. And so I know I have a buffer when I need to make a big purchase or anything like that. I've got that buffer. I know I'm safe. 10%, 10 to 15, I actually think I have it, 15% goes toward taxes. So
Mhm.
that's also set aside. But then the rest of it, the extra 35%, 20 to 25%, I pay myself, and then 10% gets put into a savings account for fun. And that's been really important for me because I want to have these amazing experiences with my kids. I want to, before I had kids, my husband and I used to travel all the time. And we hadn't traveled since we had kids, and my son is about to turn 14. So it's been a while. So that was really important to me to say the reason I'm building this business is yes, I want to contribute financially, but I also want to have these fun experiences with my kids and with my family. So by doing that last year, by setting aside that 10%, I was able to pay for my husband and I to go to Greece to celebrate our 20th anniversary this year. Um, which we never would have been able to do otherwise. And it was nice to say, we don't have to worry about it. This money is set aside. It's not affecting anything else. Like it is set aside just for this, just for us to go and spend 2 weeks in Greece, which
Mm.
was amazing to be able to do that.
Oh my gosh, it still gives me shivers when I hear this story, because it just makes me so, so happy for you, and so happy for your husband and kids, and that you are already working and showing up for the business, but now you're working, showing up, and getting paid and getting to enjoy the money. How does that feel?
It feels really good. It feels exciting. I mean, we're already planning our next trip. And this one will be a full family trip. And so it's exciting to see that growth and that just the ability to do those things with my
Mm.
family. Um, and that brings me to at the beginning of the year, we did our where we planned out our whole year. So you, Robin, you mentioned um, scheduling in fun things. And that really hit for me because I have always been the person that something hits, stress comes up. I've got a bunch of or like shows coming up and stuff. I give everything to my business and I start to ignore the things that I want to do, the fun things that I want to do with my family. So I've really kept that on my mind and I've I put everything into my schedule, and so I really wanted to do some backpacking trips with my kids this summer.
Mhm.
Um, just completely disconnect for a couple days. So I just did a 3-day backpacking trip with my daughter. I'm going into my most insane time of the year. Like, I have 3 shows in the next 2 weeks, and then next month, I think I have 9 shows. So it's insane. I'm building. I've got orders coming in, I've got customs I'm working on, and all these shows coming up, and it's all travel. I'm gonna be gone for the
Mhm.
next week, home for 3 days, and then gone for another 5 days for shows. So, eh, thinking about, like, should I have gone for 3 days? Hell yeah.
Mhm.
Because it was a time for me to let go and just reconnect with my daughter and have that time. And so you reinforcing that we need to have those fun times. It's just helping me realize why I'm doing this. I'm not doing this just to build a business. That I'm doing this to really have that ability to say, yeah, I'm going to take 3 days off and I'm going to go with my daughter or with my son on a trip just to be together again and take this time, which is why I started building the business in the first place.
Oh my goodness. I love this so much, Alina, because this is actually a big misconception a lot of people have when it comes to growing and scaling their business. You're on track to have your first six-figure year here. You are growing, like you're generating so much more sales than you ever did 2 years ago. And it also sounds like you're having more fun in your life. Your personal life, you're having more fun, you're doing more adventures, and a lot of people think to themselves, oh, well, I don't have capacity to grow beyond where I'm at because like life is stressful already. Like, and they see growth as it's a lot of sacrifice only. And there is sacrifice that comes with growth. And there is a way to grow and increase your sales and also have a fulfilling life, which is why, like you said at the beginning of the year, we first plan our adventures before we plan anything else business related. What would your advice be to someone who's listening to this being like, oh, there's no way I could grow my business? Like, I don't want to grow because in my mind, I'm telling myself the story that that means like less fun, but actually there's a way to do it in a way that feels more fun.
That's exactly where I was at. Um, and part of it was also with the age of my kids. They needed me a lot more. They're at ages now that they're they're a lot more independent, so I
Mhm.
have more time. Um, I'm still learning how to grow my business without taking on so much more. Um, but with your encouragement, Robin, I hired an accountant for the first time. So I have someone else doing my books, um, which I'm still wrapping my head around. I still don't have it all figured out, and I'm still trying to figure out how that fits in. I also hired an assistant that I mean, she maybe puts in 4 or 5 hours a month for me right now because it's just as I come up with things. It could be something like taking photos. She used to be a professional photographer, so she takes some of my photos for me. She does some of my web listings for me, um, just to take something off my plate. So being able to kind of separate myself from some of that, because I've always just been a one person show where I do everything, so being more comfortable with saying, okay, no, I don't have to have my hand everywhere. I don't have to do every part of it. I am starting to look at, and I looked at it briefly last year, but everything kind of fell through. I'm looking again at a few pieces, getting a couple pieces cast, which would take quite a bit off my plate for certain pieces.
Mhm.
Um, it's still something I'm wrapping my head around because I've always handmade every single piece. So that's a big shift for me, but I like the idea of it
Yeah.
for certain pieces. So I'm starting to research that and see where I might be able to take that. So there are ways to do it while still maintaining your authenticity and who you are, and still grow and be able to have more fun.
Mm. Oh, I love that so, so much, Alina. And I'm so glad you shared that. Like, part of this is letting go of some of the tasks that we hold on to so tightly in our business and realizing, like, we don't have to do everything. Like, we're not made to do everything. And one of the things that I find so interesting about your story is you're a homeschooling mom. Am I correct? You're a
Yes,
homeschooling mom to your two kids. You live in a teeny tiny town in the US. Where are you based
in
again?
Wyoming.
Wyoming,
Wyoming.
yeah. So how many people are in the town that you live in? Is it like a 10,000, 20,000,
It's huge for me. It's about 17,000,
17,000
which is
people?
gigantic for me. But yes.
Oh my goodness. I love it. Okay, so you're in this little town, you homeschool your kids, and a lot of women, I mean, homeschooling is no joke, and you're looking after your home and doing like you're basically doing multiple jobs and your business. And there's this misconception that like if I've seen women with kids who just don't believe it's possible for them to build a business in those little pockets of time. But you've done a really incredible job doing this. So for someone who's like wanting to make money on the side or build a business that can generate good money for them and is willing to put in the work, but has this limiting belief that it's not possible for me because I homeschool my kids too, or just my children take up a lot of my time. What's your advice to them?
To take small steps.
Hmm.
Start small. Um, find something that you really enjoy and that feeds you, and then you start to make time for it instead of saying, this is taking time away from something else. I'm not taking time away from something else. I'm making time for myself.
Hmm.
Because for me, this is my sanity. This is how it all started was, I mean, like you said, I lived on an off-grid homestead. I had a baby and a toddler, and my husband was traveling so much for work. So I was everything. And I was going insane. I don't know how I was holding it together, and I needed to find something for myself. Um, I was never a creative person. I grew up in a creative family. My parents are artists. My brother and my sister take after them. And I was the brain. I was the one that went to college and got my master's degree and total type A personality. So being a stay-at-home mom, running everything and not having anything for myself was driving me crazy. Um, and so I found jewelry after I tried a lot of different things, years of just dabbling in tons of different things that were fun, but they were never the thing. And
Hmm.
then I started just making super simple jewelry, and it was like, this makes me happy. This is what fills my soul. And so I just started slow. And like I said, my kids were baby and toddler at the time. I couldn't use a torch. There was no way. I knew I wanted to get into silversmithing, but having a baby and a toddler running around, it just wasn't going to happen. So I just started small. And as they grew, then I started dabbling in the silver. And as soon as I picked up that torch, it was like, okay, all bets are off. This is it. I knew that this was my thing. And so for me, it's again, I'm not taking time away from anything else for this because I know that I'm doing it for me and it's really filling me up and keeping me happy and healthy for being with my family instead of feeling
Hmm.
like I have X, I have all these different things to do. It's like this calms me down and lets me be on an even keel for the rest of everything.
Oh wow, that's so powerful. Because I'm not a mother, but I can imagine the mom guilt that kicks in when you take time away from your family and away from your kids to do anything that is not focused on them and not, directly seen as supporting them. And from what you shared, Alina, it sounds like you actually prioritizing this time for yourself and your business like allows you to show up better for your family. Would you say that's the case?
It definitely does. And it took me a long time to realize that and to get to that point. Um, I had what I would consider a mental health crisis a few years ago. Um, I don't want to get too much into it because I'll start
Yeah.
crying.
Yeah.
But to the point where I ended up going away to get help. I went and see, I'm tearing up already. um, the jewelry itself has helped me come back to myself and realize that I am just as important as my family, as everything else going on, and that I need to take care of myself in order to take care of them.
Mm. Oh my goodness. Whew, this is giving me chills. This is so beautiful, Alina, and thank you for sharing. And I I know there's going to be women listening to this that need to hear this message, that need to like realize like if they're also just in a season of struggling, like finding that thing that can bring you back to yourself, that can give you a sense of purpose. It's so so important. And I'm so glad that you found this through jewelry. I'm so glad that jewelry's been able to not only like go out there and have an impact on your customers that get to enjoy your beautiful pieces, but also like have an impact on you that's been so life changing, I'd say. So thank you for sharing that. It's gonna get me all emotional now as well. I'm just like, keep it together, keep it together. Um, what would you say is your favorite part of being? I know you've just touched a little bit on like the impact, but like your favorite part of being a jewelry business owner? What like lights you up? Like, what would you say is your favorite thing about like doing this full time?
I'd say there's two things. One is more just for me, and one involves other people. So, one, the just for me is seeing a creation come to life, seeing an idea come to life, and looking at it and being like, wow, I made that. Like, that just feels amazing to me to have an idea in your mind, something that's so deeply personal, and to be able to make it come to life. Um, a lot of my pieces are, I don't want to say hyper realistic, but very close to realistic. Um, and to see someone like at a show pick something up and be like, "Oh my gosh, I love your ginkgo leaf," or "I love it." Like they know exactly what it is. They know exactly what my intention was going into it, which
Mm.
is really cool. The My other favorite part is, especially at shows, seeing someone connect with a piece. Just like seeing the look on their face, the stories that they share. Um, a lot of my pieces have a lot of meaning and personal meaning to me, but also to other people.
Mm.
So seeing someone like pick up a leaf or a dragonfly and have a memory or a story that comes up for them that connects them with that piece, that really fills me up.
Oh yeah, I love that so much. Do you have one customer story that you'd like to share?
Hmm. Um, it was with a dragonfly piece. It was actually a man bought a piece for his girlfriend, one of my a smaller dragonfly, and he knew that dragonflies meant something to her, but he didn't know how much they meant to her. Um, and after she got it, she sent me a message talking about her grandmother and how she always
Mm.
connected dragonflies with her grandmother, and there was this whole personal story behind it. And I've seen her in person since then, and almost every time I see her, she's wearing her dragonfly, and it's just a really cool connection to make.
Oh, that's so such a special story. That's so so special as well when you're bumping into her and seeing her and she's wearing your piece of jewelry. How does it feel to see your jewelry out in the wild like that?
I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. Um, I went to a show recently in Wisconsin, which is where I'm from originally, and the number of people walking past my booth with pieces of mine already on
Yeah.
was awesome. It was so cool. And I'm in Wyoming, so getting my pieces to Wisconsin, I know um like I don't do that many shows there. So to see that many of my pieces out and about, It's just awesome. My mom just told me the other day, she's an artist as well, and does art shows, and she was wearing one of my earrings, one of my pairs of earrings at one of their last shows. And she said somebody came up and was like, "Oh my gosh, where did you get your Alena Made Jewelry?"
Oh my
And she's like,
goodness.
"Oh, that's my daughter." So it's so much fun, just things like that that they pop up in the wild, which is pretty awesome.
Oh my gosh, I love it. It's like the best feeling ever when you realize like you've built brand recognition here. You've got fans like around the US now. Probably got some fans in Greece as well from your trip there. But that's so inspiring, Alena. I love it, and you've done a really good job over the last year and a half of shifting how you show up in your business from treating it a little bit more like, I guess I'd say, a hobby, to really like taking ownership over, this is my business. I'm going to show up and like as a CEO, as a business owner, not just as a designer too, but like I'm here to like run this as a business. What would you say that shift has actually like, how would you say that shift's impacted how you show up day to day? And what would you say like being a part of the academy has contributed to that?
Ooh, that's a good question, Robin. Um, I think one of the biggest shifts for me was showing up physically for my business, showing my face. Before I joined the academy, I rarely put my face out there. Um, I was not comfortable on camera. I was not okay with people. I just always felt like I was going to be judged because I judge myself. So of
Mhm.
course everyone else is judging me. Um, so that has been a huge shift for me. I did my first live TV interview last year, and it
Wow.
was one of those like the opportunity presented itself, and normally I'd be like, no, no way. There's no way I am doing this. And I heard you in the in my head, Robin, saying, no, this is a really great opportunity for you. You're the face of your business. You should do this. And it's like, okay, I'm just gonna say yes.
Mhm.
And it went really well. And that helped me be just kind of like stepping into the water. You just have to go for it. Just jump in.
Mhm.
And then once you're in, you realize it's not that bad.
Mm.
Um, so that's been a huge shift is putting my face out there.
Oh,
Um,
I love that. And would you say, like, how would you say the shift in your business of like being like, maybe it's still uncomfortable for you, but like being seen and taking up space and using your voice, how would you say that shift in your business has impacted your personal life?
I would say it's been huge. Part of the reason why I wasn't okay with my face being out there is I wasn't very healthy. I was overweight. I didn't feel good about myself. And as I put myself out there more, I realized, you know what? I can control that and I can focus on my health again.
Mm.
So, starting near the end of last year, I started seeing a functional health doctor. I started getting my health under control. I've lost 35 pounds. Like, it's impacted my personal life in a huge way because I started taking care of myself again. Not just through the self-care of doing my business, but actually taking care of my health and not just my mental health, taking care of my physical health as well. Um, so yeah, I think it's been huge. And
Oh, wow.
I feel so much better about myself. I feel so much healthier. And now I'm like, okay, I can show my face out there. I don't care what people think, because I'm getting healthy and I'm feeling better. And I think that shows.
This makes me so happy to hear, Alina, because you'll know I always say this, but like in your whole business, the most important part of the of any jewelry business is like you, the designer, the owner, the business owner. And a lot of people get this wrong. They allow looking after themselves and prioritizing their health and wellness to kind of go on the back burner when we're building businesses. And hearing that you have decided like this is a priority and you've got that support, you've got your holistic doctor, you doing whatever you need to do to be in your like in your healthiest state so you're energized and fueled, like that is one of the best things you can do for your business and for yourself and for your family, and it just makes me so happy to hear. What would you say is one piece of advice for someone listening who's like, "Oh my gosh, I need to do the same." Alena, you've inspired me. I needed to like take back control of my life here, take back control of my business, but like I want to feel alive again because what I'm seeing with you just talking to you is you seem very present, very grounded, very alive.
I feel a lot more present and alive than I ever did. I feel way more energetic. Um, oh, I'm falling out. Ah, I don't want to turn it off in the process. Okay,
You're
there
good.
we go. Um, um, it took me a while to feel like I could spend the money on myself, that I could prioritize spending the money on myself to get myself better. Because there are steps that you can take that don't cost a lot. But I also knew that for me, I didn't want to just throw random things at it thinking, well, I might need this or I might need that. So for me, going with a functional health doctor and getting everything, like getting my labs done and basing it off of where I'm at and what I need is what really helped me. So it took a little bit of time for me to say, you know what, I'm worth it and it's okay. And I guess that's what I would tell people. You're worth it. You're worth taking care of yourself because you want to grow your business. You want to be there for your family, for the people you love. Um, and if you don't take care of yourself, then you're not going to be. So,
Mm,
um, but whether it's that initial motivation is for other people, really it's about you and it's about taking care of yourself and prioritizing yourself and realizing that you are just as important as everything else. Um, that's been a huge mental shift for me because I've always prioritized whatever's going on in my family with my kids, my husband, the house. I've always prioritized that. So to step back and say, you know what, no, I need to do this for me, um, so that I'm 100% because I can't give to everybody else when I'm not.
mm,
Um, yeah, I know I'm
I
worth it, and you are too.
Oh, I love this so much. Hopefully, everyone is taking notes, putting this on a sticky post-it note, putting on their mirror. Um, it just makes me so happy to hear, Alena, and I just love seeing like the shift in how you're showing up, like like I feel like yeah, like I said, you seem so alive and so like open and so open to connecting with people and being seen and taking up space, and that comes down to a huge part of like looking after ourselves and our energy and all of this. So I love this. And I'm sure you're going to have inspired so many people listening to this. Like the impact of someone going and taking action on this, it can be life changing for people. So thank you for sharing. I'd love to know, what is your favorite part of working with me been over the year and a half?
I'd say there's two things that stick out for me. One is the weekly calls, um, our hot seat coaching, or um, whether I'm just listening or actually come in ready to participate with questions. Um, one, you just have a way of taking whatever issue has come up and making it possible, making it into bite-sized pieces that we can handle, and just helping us to look at things in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So whether I'm coming in with specific questions or if I'm just listening to where other people are at, it helps shift my framework, shifts where my mind is at the moment to really focus on my business and really focus on um, the steps I need to take rather than what I might just want to do. So
Mm,
I'd say that's my biggest one. My other one, as I was thinking about it in preparation for the podcast, was the 10-day sprint. Having a framework to get all the basics lined out and get that basic understanding, and get those steps done, whether it takes you 10 days or 10 weeks for the 10-day sprint, like that was huge for me. Just being like, I'm taking these steps, I'm making this progress, I'm learning what needs to get done. Um, I think that was a huge shift in getting me to think about my business as a business, um,
mm. Oh, I
and to
love
think of
that so
myself as a
much.
CEO.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And you did such a great job like going through and implementing and taking action on that. So that's awesome. And what would you say to someone who's listening who's like, I don't do group coaching calls. Like I don't think like maybe they've been on calls in the past with someone where two or three people get to talk, which is pretty common, or they just haven't had a good experience. What would you say to them based on your experience coming to these group coaching calls with me?
I was definitely skeptical coming in. I didn't have a whole lot of experience with group coaching calls, but I just wasn't sure coming in, like how it was going to be. I feel like I get so much out of it because everybody comes in with their questions. They're already ready. And like I said, you have a way of condensing it down to these are the steps you need to take for whichever issue you have. And it's, for the most part, you're not getting in depth, like super in depth. It sounds kind of negative, but it's not. This is not not a negative thing. You're you're not just skimming the surface. You are just getting to the heart of what the issue is. Um, and even though everyone's in a different place. Like there are people who are just starting out. There are people at my level. There are people way past where I'm at. Um, I feel like when I listen to all of them, I'm learning something. I'm
Mm,
gaining something from each question, each conversation, not just from my own questions. So
mm,
there's a lot of times that I come in and I don't have a question prepared. I'm just working in my studio or I'm doing something, and I just being there to listen in, it helps me to refocus. It helps me to figure out, okay, oh, someone else is having this issue. That's not something I thought about. Oh, yeah, I should be taking that step too. Um, or seeing someone's success, seeing like what Anna has been doing with her little snail guy, like seeing what she's been doing pushes me that much more to be like,
mm.
oh, okay, like I can take these steps too. She's showing me that this is possible, that I can do this. Um, yeah, it blew my mind what's possible in a 2-hour call.
Oh, I love that. And so looking forward over the next 6 months to 2 years or to 1 year, what's coming up for Alena Made Jewelry? Like what's the big goal over the next 6 months to 12 months? What are you most excited about to bring to life with your business?
Um, I think honestly getting a little more clarity on specific pieces that could be bestsellers. Um, I still struggle with figuring out which pieces in particular are those pieces, which ones do I want to make more of, so that I can streamline the process and do more of the getting pieces cast so that I can focus on some more of those one of a kind crazy pieces that I love to make.
Oh, I love that. That's so exciting. And I can't wait to bring you back in a couple of months or a few months to hear how this is going, because this is going to free up so much time as well for you as you're scaling and then give you more time to work on those fun one of a kind pieces. So that's exciting. Would you, for someone who's where you were a year and a half ago, or even someone who's like way back when you got started in your jewelry business, would you recommend they come and work with me and join the academy? And if so, why?
So honestly, I'm glad I started when I did. Um, I feel like if I had tried to join when I was earlier in my process, I wasn't mentally ready. Because I wasn't ready to prioritize myself or my business. I wasn't ready to make the time or take the time for me. And my business is such an extension of me that um, that it wouldn't have worked. That I wouldn't have given the program and myself what I needed. Um, if you're where I was at a year and a half ago, where you're starting to hit your head against a wall and you really want to grow your business and you just feel like there's something missing that you need, go do it 100%. I knew I needed help. I knew I was at that point where I couldn't do it all myself. And I had looked at a ton of different programs and none of them quite felt right. I didn't connect with the coach or something, just something about the program didn't feel right. Um, Honestly, your program was pricier than some of the other ones I was considering, um, but it felt right. There was something about it. I felt like you were approaching it in a way that made sense for me. That
Hmm.
was, you made it doable, you made it possible. Um, so even though it was pricier than some of the other ones I was considering, it wasn't like, well, this one's less, so I might do that first, or it was just, it felt right. Um, so I'd say make the investment. I mean, it's 1,000 times overpaid for itself. So I'm if you're on the if you're wondering if you should do it, I'd say go for it.
Oh, I love hearing that so much, Alina, and thank you for sharing your experience. Like, I really appreciate it. I'd love to ask you some rapid fire questions for anyone else who's listening, who's like, "Oh, this sounds like really good. This actually sounds amazing. I definitely want to come and join the academy, but I'm gonna like wait for a few more months, or maybe even a few more years, and then I'll come and join." What would you say to them?
I'd say don't wait. Just if you feel like you're looking at stuff and you're ready to make that shift, it just 100% jump in. Jump in and do it
Mm.
because it's going to make a huge difference from day one.
Mm, I love that. And for someone who's like, okay, you know what? The problem is I've been working for a few years in my business and we're maybe stuck at the $42,000 year mark in sales, but I'm not paying myself and the business maybe isn't doing that well financially. So I need to kind of figure this out first so that I can afford to pay for the investment. What would you say to them?
You're going to make it back within the first couple months easily. You're going to make what you paid for the program back in the first couple months if you put the work in, if you're ready to put the work in. If you
Mhm.
think this is a magic bullet that you join and all of a sudden everything's going to be great and you don't have to put the work in, you're not ready.
Yeah.
Um, you do need to put the work in. But I mean, 2 years before I joined, I think I was at 15,000. So I had grown my business my own. I had doubled my sales.
Mhm.
I had been able to do that, but I was hitting a brick wall. I was putting so much effort out there for so little return that I needed something. So if you're ready, if you feel like you're giving it your all, you're probably putting your all um, into the wrong things, I guess. You're just
Mm.
like this will help you get focused so that you're putting your energy where it should be to truly make a difference.
Yeah, I'm so glad you shared that because I wish when people came in, I could wave a magic wand and bam, you got these little results. You got these sales pinging overnight on day one. But the reality is, like, we can provide the accountability, strategy, frameworks, support, all that. But like, you have to go do the work. And you've been so good at that. What would you say for someone who's like wondering if they can trust themselves to actually show up for the program and for themselves and for their business? Like, what would you say to them?
Put it in your schedule. That's what I did when I first started. I set aside 1 to 3 hours every day where it's like, okay, I am focusing on the 10-day sprints. I'm spending this time every day doing this and actually implementing what needs to get done. Um, to me, the monetary commitment helped me to say, okay, I put this out there. I need to actually get this back. I need to
Mhm.
make sure that I'm putting in the effort um, to make this happen. And so putting it in your schedule and just making it where it's non-negotiable, this is what I have to do. And sometimes that meant staying up a little bit later at night after my kids went to bed to get it done,
Mhm.
or waking up super early in the morning to get it done, knowing that I had a huge day ahead of me or just a million things. But I committed to it, and it makes a difference. You just have to commit and put it in your schedule.
Yeah, I really admire how diligent you've been over the year and a half, Alina, with like showing up for yourself, showing up for your business, because it's not always easy, especially when you have your kids that you're homeschooling, you're in this tiny town. But for someone who is maybe also feeling how you felt about being scared to be on camera and feels like, oh, I know Robin's going to push me to get on camera somehow if I come and join, and I'm not going to do that. Like I feel so scared of being seen. So that's going to be like the reason I don't come and get support. What would you say to them?
I get you. I understand that fear 100%. Um, and I started small. I did the 10-day video challenge that you have us do at the beginning where we're just sharing in the JBA group.
Mhm.
Um, and that helped some, but it's still I was not comfortable at all. Um, so I just slowly started doing little videos. I did a couple lives. I'd share a photo here and there. I didn't do it a lot. And now I'm becoming more unapologetic. I'm not there yet, but
Mm,
I'm getting to the point where I'm more comfortable taking video of myself out in public and not feeling
mm,
weird about it. Um, you start small and you start putting out there, and then you remind me, Robin, on a call, like, hey, I don't see your face. Why isn't your face out there? It's like, oh yeah, I got to do that.
yeah.
And it just gets easier. And if you're like me, then it starts to change your personal life too. And you realize, you know what, I'll put my face out there more if I start feeling better about myself. And so you
Mm.
start to change other things as well.
Oh, I love that so much. And it kind of leads me to my last question for you, Alina, and then we'll wrap this up. But when you look back over who you were and how you showed up in life and in business a year and a half ago versus how you show up now, because to me, quite honestly, my favorite part of business is who you become along the way. I feel like it's not that we become a different person, we become more true to who we really are without all those walls that we've put up over the years. And we just shine brighter, we're more confident, we're more visible, all this good stuff. But for you, like, what's been your favorite thing looking at who you've become over the last year and a half?
I think you kind of said it. I'm becoming more who I am. Um, I I feel like I used to hide a lot more. I would hide behind um, pictures of my jewelry, or I, even in what I wear, I would always wear just super dark colors. I didn't want to stand out. Um, and part of that is I wasn't feeling good about myself. But as I'm embracing more being the face of my business, I'm also embracing that colorful, fun side of myself. And I'm okay with being seen. I'm okay with not just okay, I want to be seen. I want
Mm.
people to know who I am. I want to put myself out there um, instead of hide myself away.
Oh,
And I
I
want to
love
make those
this.
connections with people.
I love hearing that so much. It's just like nothing lights me up more than hearing women like wanting to be seen, wanting to take up space in the world. and
Yeah.
like feeling worthy of taking up space in the world as well. So that's beautiful, Alena. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your story and your journey and your experience in the academy so openly. I really appreciate it. And I know your story is going to have inspired a lot of listeners who want to follow along and connect and support you. So, where can our listeners find you and how can they support you?
Best places on Instagram. It's at Alena Made Jewelry. May is MAY. So, and my website is alenamay.com. So that's the best way.
I love it. We will link all those in the show notes so anyone listening can go follow along, connect, and support with Alena. Is there anything else you wanted to share that we didn't touch on before we wrap up here, Alena? Any last words of wisdom?
I'm looking at my notes to see if there's anything I missed. Um, I think the other thing is you have really helped me feel more confident in my pricing
Mm,
and knowing that my pieces are worth it and that in order to treat this as a business, I need to get paid appropriately, both for my pieces and paying myself.
mm,
And that has been huge. My prices have increased quite a bit, um, which sometimes feels weird, but I realize a year and a half ago, I was not charging what I needed to in order to um, get any kind of return on this, to really treat it as a business and not a hobby. Um,
mhm,
so I think that's something that's really helped too. And pricing, I mean, it's a huge headache, especially when you work in a with a precious metal that is a commodity and the prices are fluctuating constantly. It's a headache, but now I go into it and I know that working within my formula is getting everything together. Sometimes I still get sticker shock. I look at it like, oh my God, I can't charge that much for that. And then I think about, well, you know what? Yeah, you can,
mm.
because you have all this time into it. You have all this material and you're worth it. You are worth building this business. And part of that is pricing appropriately. And I feel like that's a really important thing that I've gained from you, Robin, from the Academy.
Oh, I love that so, so much, Alena, because yeah, anyone listening, um, if you're wanting to start paying yourself and you're wanting your business to feel energizing, you have to be pricing right before you even learn to market right. Like you have to get your pricing in order because you can increase sales with the wrong margins and be making multiple six figures and actually not pay yourself. So I'm so glad you brought this up, Alena. Thank you for sharing. And also, I love that you feel worthy of charging what you need to charge. Like that to me is just such a huge win. So I'm sure you're gonna have inspired someone who's listening who's like, I know I'm underpricing. I've just been kind of leaving it on the back burner. Anyone who's like nodding along, being like, that's me. This is your little challenge to go make sure you're making a good profit. Make sure you're feeling energized by your prices. Otherwise, the business is gonna be a little bit of a struggle down the line. But Alena, this was so wonderful. Thank you so much for coming and joining me and sharing. And yeah, can't wait to bring you on in a few months to hear all your updates.
Thank you so much, Robin.